Hey guys, yeah, this is uncut, unscripted, on the fly, and I'm doing this while I wait for my bus that's coming in the next 12 minutes. Okay guys, this is a bit of a channel update, basically letting you know what's going on with my channel as far as my work schedule is concerned, as well as what's going on with my CAW Creative Wrestling League, DCWA, and how it all fits into what's going on with the future of my channel and what's to come entirely. So let's get into it while I wait for my bus to arrive. Okay guys, so let's talk about the work schedule first. Now today, yesterday, and Monday, and as well tomorrow and Friday, I'm working. So I'm doing Monday through Friday, and that includes next week. And what's unique about this is the fact that usually right now I'd be at home relaxing, just chilling, whatever, because I've had Wednesdays off over the past few weeks before today. And that won't happen again for another 2 weeks. You see, 2 weeks from today, in the last Wednesday of the month, I will be off again. It will go back to the Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday routine. But the reason I bring this all up is because how it's going to affect my schedule. Now, first of all, this weekend begins President's Day weekend. And what that means is my mom's going to have Monday off. And how does that affect me? Well, it's quite simple. I don't have to be at work until 10:15 that day. Unfortunately, the buses are not running on President's Day, so my mom's going to have to take me. The positive is I get to sleep in a little longer, as well does she. And she has to also pick me up. Now, you might say, well, that shouldn't really concern your channel that much, Brian. And you'd be correct. It really shouldn't. But the thing is, you know, she's still going to be off, and what that means is I have to get up really early, like I would normally do, which would be around I'd say 6:30, maybe 6 o'clock at the most. And what I'm going to do, maybe even 7 at the earliest, but what I'm going to do is at least try to do a live stream or some kind of video content around that time. As well as when I'm on my lunch during that day, if it's not too busy and crazy, do a video, you know, after I have some lunch, or after I eat some lunch and all that, like I try to do. Now, Tuesday will be just like it's always been, 11:30 to 4. Next week is going to be like today, but I'll be working an hour less than today. Today I worked 8:30 to 4:30, and next week I'm doing 9:30 to 4:30. So bit of a difference with an hour less of work than I got today. Then Thursday and Friday are going to be just as they always have been. It's just the difference is the times are going to be switched around. Like, for example, tomorrow I do 12:15 to 4:45. Well, next Thursday I do noon to 4:15. And then Friday is just the typical, as of right now, 11:45 to 4:15 schedule. Now, with all that said, again, you're probably wondering, how does that affect my channel? Well, Thursday and Friday basically are going to be the biggest opportunities I have to have some time to myself, because if I don't get a dial-a ride, which right now I could try, but I seriously doubt I'd be able to get one, and I've been dealing with that lately. I don't know why. The START bus service is so hard to get a dial-a ride with, especially with the fact that they shouldn't be that booked up. But anyway, I'm mostly going to have the house to myself for about almost 5.5 hours, or 5 hours and 20 minutes. The reason I say that is because today my mom left around 5:33. She left the house physically, she shut the front door, locked it and everything, around 5:28, and she didn't pull out of the driveway until 5:33. So adding that into account as to how that affects tomorrow, she could what I'm trying to get at is she could possibly be doing the same thing, and I would end up basically having the house to myself for not 5 hours and I would say 25 minutes, but for 5 hours 22 minutes. It's still about the same, you know, but still, you know, a few minutes less than what I normally get. Now sometimes she does try to leave earlier, like 5:20 or something like that, or 5:25, or leave the house at 5:20 and then pull out by at least 5:25. So that would give me like a 5.5 hours. But the only thing that kind of reduces that a little bit is I like to give my mom 5 to 10 minutes before I get up, because I know from experience with living with both my parents that it only takes 5 to 10 minutes for them to turn around because they forgot something. There have been many times when I've lived, me and my mom have lived here in Patterson, where my room was like on this end and the guest room was right next door, and I could just go into the bathroom, the little bathroom hallway I had, and then go into the other room because there was a door connecting it. But anyway, what I'm trying to get at is I would look out the window, either in my room or the guest room, and I would see the truck or the car pull back up, and I'd be like, oh, she forgot something, and I would rush back into my bed. So I would try to so I'd basically try to give 5 or 10 minutes to, you know, leeway, if you will, a head start, if you will, just to see what happens. Besides that, without any kind of, you know, turnaround of, oh, I forgot this and that, I should be able to have the house to myself for almost about 5 hours and 20 minutes tomorrow. That's what should be the possibility. And that normally feels like basically like a whole half a day to myself. Now, like I said, with the exception of getting a dial right if I can, basically I'm going to have, like I said, 5 hours and 22 minutes, or 5 hours, 20 minutes to myself. And if I get a dial ride, and let's say I could get it for like 11:30, between 11:30 and noon, then basically I would have the house to myself for almost 6 hours. So most likely it'd be 5 hours, 22 minutes. Best scenario, wild card scenario, if a dial ride becomes available, is 6 hours. That's the way I'll look at it. That's the way I look at it. But the reason I bring this all up is because the fact that on these days, I'm going to have at least a little bit of time. Mostly, like I said, the Thursday and Fridays of both weeks to myself before I head out to work, as well as 2 weeks from today, things kind of go back to the way they were previously, where I end up having Wednesday off and basically getting up around, like I said, maybe 5-10 minutes after my mom leaves, which would be like 5:35 in the morning or whatever, and try to spend as much time to myself, or spend as much time to myself, and enjoy a lot of relaxation and all that as best I can. But anyway, that's about it with the channel update. As far as the schedule goes, let's get into the Created Wrestling League, my DCWA. Alright, real quickly before my bus arrives, DCWA, my Created Wrestling League, as far as the WWE 2K series goes, as we all know, 2K recently released another big patch and update, which was patch 1.07. Now, this did address a lot of the issues that people were complaining about. As a matter of fact, this update was so huge, I had to, you know, remove my Madden 25 game, which I could still put back on later, just to download this patch, which also included the Southpaw Regional Wrestling DLC. Now, like I said, even though it did make things look a little better, feel a little bit smoother and playable, there was still some issues here and there. There was still some issues that need to be addressed, still some glitches, hiccups, if you will, and crashes, mostly crashes as well. In fact, I should know, because when I tried to create my created version of myself, when I, in the game, when I got to putting on some elbow pads with some downloaded pictures I put on, or imagery, that's when the game crashed. So, I mean, the game played well for me for a bit, but then all of a sudden it just decided to crash when I was trying to create a wrestling version of myself. And like I said, when I was doing the attire for my character, and I got to the elbow pad part, that's when it crashed. So there's still a lot more that has to be addressed. So what does this mean as far as my league goes and the new season? As far as my league goes and all that in the new season, I'm probably going to get a 2 terabyte external game drive to connect, and then that's how I'm going to use 2K19 to start the 2K20 season of my DCWA CAW league. So that's the plan right now, until we get maybe a few more patches to make the game of 2K20 more playable. So that's about it, guys. I just thought I'd let you know what's happening as far as the work schedule goes, and as far as basically how it concerns my channel, as well as what my CAW league future is when it comes to my channel as well. Just thought I'd let you guys know. My bus is here, so I will talk to you guys later. Thank you all for watching, and I'm out.